not sure. Hi, Ravi. Gamako Jokirana. लाइव ऑन करके गई थी ना? अच्छा अच्छा, सॉरी। हाँ, just have to do the same. Hi, Jalan. ब्रेड मेरे मुंह में लाइक दांत में चिपक गया। Are you the same person, Wave? Oh नहीं नहीं, ये वो नहीं है ना, उसका तो रेड कलर का वो है ना, क्या बोलते उसे, अमोंग अस के जो लाइक कैरेक्टर का है प्रोफाइल। कोई गोलू मोलू सा बोल रहा है ये मुझे। एक्सक्यूज मी। कल मैं एक भी आवर नहीं पढ़ी। किसी ने मुझे पूछा कि मैं ऐसे रोने लग गई, लेकिन नहीं रोई। ऑब्वियसली रोने वाली थी ना। ओके तुम्हें पता है आज मेरे भैया मुझे कभी नहीं डांटते। ओके कभी गलत भी नहीं बोलते। ही इज सो सपोर्टिव एंड आई एम सो प्राउड। ओके ये क्या है? ओके वो कमेंट की ना, ये पर्पल कलर का वहां पर आधा दिख रहा है ना, यहाँ कहाँ मुझे लगा कि मेरे भेस्ट पे कुछ चिपका है, लेकिन नहीं, वो कमेंट की वजह से। मैं क्या बोल रही थी? हाँ, भैया मुझे कभी नहीं डांटते ना। आज सब लोगों के लाइक सारे स्टूडेंट के बीच में उन्होंने मुझे क्या बोला पता है? लाइक उन्होंने ना ऐसे लाइक मुझे हर्ट करने के लिए नहीं बोला ना, उन्होंने ये बोला लाइक उन्होंने मुझे बोला था कि तुम वीडियोस बनाना स्टार्ट करो। लाइक उन्होंने मुझे वो भी दिया था, टैबलेट भी दिया था, उसमें लिख के प्रैक्टिस करो कि लाइक फ्लो मेंटेन करो कि हैंड राइटिंग अच्छी होनी चाहिए सबकी। तुम खुद को ना लेक्चर लाइक पढ़ाते वक्त रिकॉर्ड करो, ऐसा उन्होंने बताया था। उन्होंने बहुत पहले बताया था। ओके लाइक और मैंने बोला कि हाँ हाँ तब ठीक है बोला था ना। तो आज उन्होंने मुझे बोला सबके सामने ऐसा बोला कि तुम क्या कर रही हो घर में? मैंने बोला कि मैं कुछ नहीं कर रही हूँ। और उन्होंने बोला कि हिंदी में उसे क्या बोलते हैं? इन नेपाली वी कॉल इट लाटा। दैट मीन्स अ पर्सन हु कांट स्पीक। ओके बट इट हैज़ डिफरेंट मीनिंग, बट एकदम लिटरल ट्रांसलेशन यही होगा, अ पर्सन हु कांट स्पीक, वो वाला। तो घर पे ना ऐसे लाटा की तरह मत बैठो, कुछ तो करो, लाइक वीडियोस ये सब बनाओ, ऐसा करके बोला। मुझे इतना बुरा लगा। उन्होंने मुझे हर्ट करने के लिए नहीं बोला था, फिर भी मुझे बुरा लगा ना। मैंने कुछ ही नहीं बोल पाई। विच क्लास? अरे क्लास हूँ, गूंगी। हाँ एग्जैक्टली, गूंगी गूंगी जैसा ही, ऐसा ही कुछ बोले। लेकिन वो ना लाइक इमोशंस के साथ चेंज होता है। गूंगी 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 को ना लाटी बोलते हो। ओके लाइक लाटा मीन्स की गूंगा। हिंदी लैंग्वेज भी कितनी फनी है ना, गूंगी गूंगा गूंगा। लाठी, इट्स नॉट लाठी, इट्स लाटी। थोड़ा तुम्हें लाइक ऐसे करके बोलना पड़ेगा, लाठी करके। लाठी, नॉट लाठी, इट्स नॉट लाठी, इट्स सपोज्ड टू बी लाठी। आजकल मुझे ना लाइक कोल्ड प्ले का ना वो येलो वाला सॉन्ग, वैसे तो मुझे पहले भी पसंद था। ओके लेकिन आजकल मुझे कुछ ज्यादा ही पसंद आ रहा है। लाठी या लाठी। अब ज्यादा मत लिखी लाठी लाठी, मैं तेरा सर फोड़ दूंगी लाठी लाठी बोल के। तू मेरा इंसल्ट कर रहा है। The man with the twisted lips. Na, 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 na. It was all yellow. कोई कोई ऐसी तारा, कोई ऐसी तारा, हाँ तारा ही तो बोलते हैं, कोई ऐसी तारा जो मेरे लिए चमके। Are you preparing for need? आहा, no brother, no, no brother। कल भी मैं ये सेम चीज पूछ के किसी ने मुझे पूछा था, मैं उसको ना गुस्सा करके, ऐसे गुस्सा करके डांट रही थी। आज फिर से ये आ गया, इसको भी मैं ऐसे गुस्सा करके डांटू। नहीं दिया था नीट, और मैं नहीं दूंगी क्योंकि ना नहीं दे सकती ना। तुम समझ क्यों नहीं हो? मैंने 2025 में दिया था, मेरा सिलेक्शन ही नहीं हुआ। मैं कितनी बार बोलूँ एक ही चीज? बताओ तो यहाँ पर क्यों ये आ रहा है आइकॉन? कहाँ पहला दिन है? ओके, आज यहाँ चैनल पे पहला दिन है। अच्छा अच्छा, मुझे लगा तुम ऐसे कहीं कोचिंग सोचिंग पे गए हो और वहां पर तुम्हारा पहला दिन है। आज पहला दिन है तो हेलो वैभव। It's all yellow. ओ मैंने बताया मैंने ना वो किया, लाइक मैंने बोला था ना कि मैं वर्कआउट करूंगी, तो मैंने किया। ओके, और वो मुझे कुछ नहीं आता, वर्कआउट के नाम पे कुछ भी नहीं आता। तो मैंने मैं कब से सोच रही थी ना मैं वर्कआउट करूंगी, लेकिन मुझे सच्ची में कुछ नहीं आता। मैंने इतने लोगों को पूछा, किसी ने मुझे अच्छा वाला एडवाइस नहीं दिया था। सब लोग वही गूगल फोन वाला ही भेजते थे ना, तो मुझे वो वाला पसंद नहीं था। लेकिन फिर कल मुझे पता नहीं ऐसा क्या हुआ कि मैंने खुद सर्च किया, और मैंने पिंटरेस्ट पे सर्च किया था, थोड़ा थोड़ा ही मिला ना। और मैं इतनी बेवकूफ़ लड़की, मैंने उल्टा किया। वो उसको ना, आई थिंक उसका रियल नाम था, पता नहीं कुछ था, और मुझे लगा कि वो क्रंचेस है, और मैंने वो काफ़ी बार की क्योंकि मुझे मेरे पॉट बेली पसंद नहीं था। फिर वो करने के बाद मुझे बाद में पता चला कि मैंने बोला ना कि मुझे तो बहुत पैर दुख रहे हैं, पैर ऐसे काँप रहे हैं, ऐसा करके मैंने बताया ना। तो मेरे फ्रेंड ने बोला कि तो फिर मैंने ना वो नहीं किया होगा, क्रंचेस नहीं किया होगा। तो तुमने क्रंचेस कैसे करके किया? मैंने दिखाया ना, और फिर मुझे पता चला कि मैंने क्रंचेस नहीं किया, मैंने स्क्वाट किया। और मैं बोल रही हूँ कि मैंने क्रंचेस ही किया था। मुझे इतना शर्म आई, लेकिन मैंने पता नहीं डाइजेस्ट कर लिया। और मैंने आज भी सुबह थोड़ा थोड़ा किया, इतना इतना जितना। कल मैंने 50 टाइम्स किया, आज मैंने किया 30। वे अम्मा बोलती है ना कल 50 किया तो आज 51 करो। मैंने कल 50 किया था ना, आज मैंने कितना किया? अकॉर्डिंग टू अम्मा के हिसाब से आज 51 करना चाहिए था। कल मैंने 50 किया था, आज मैंने 25 कर लिया। एग्जैक्टली हाफ। लड़कियां करती है सर्च, तुम भी ना? क्या सर्च करती हैं? पिंटरेस्ट वर्कआउट कौन सर्च करता है? ओह, ईमा बीइंग छेत्री इज ऑलवेज। आप पहाड़न हो? व्हाट इज पहाड़न? अगर तुम मुझे बोलती कि क्या आप सिक्किम से हो, तो मैं बोलती कि हाँ मैं सिक्किम से हूँ। व्हाट इज पहाड़न? मेरा घर पहाड़ के ऊपर है, एकदम माउंट एवरेस्ट के ऊपर या फिर कंचनजंगा के ऊपर। हाँ मैं एक पहाड़न हूँ। मैं जब ऐसे दरवाजा खोलती हूँ ना तो मेरा पैर हवा में लटकता रहता है, और मैं घर से बाहर नहीं निकलती। अगर पहाड़ के ऊपर है ना, एकदम यहाँ पर है मेरा घर, तो एक टांग बाहर निकालूंगी तो गिर जाऊंगी ना नीचे। चैप्टर 6 पढ़ना है इसका, वे चैप्टर 6 पढ़ के वही डेली वाला 3 स्लॉट वाला करेंगे। बाय द वे मैं ये सच बता ही देती हूँ, पहाड़ के ऊपर नहीं, मेरे घर एकदम पहाड़ के बेस पे है। तुम्हें पता है ना, 2 पहाड़ को रिवर सेपरेट करते हैं, तो मेरे घर एकदम रिवर के ही बगल में है। लाइक मैं छलांग मारूँ तो ना सीधा वहाँ पर, थोड़ा मेरे घर से निकल के उधर छलांग मारने का जगह है, ओके। तो वो स्लोप एरिया से मैं छलांग मारूँ ना तो नीचे रिवर पे ही पहुँच जाऊँगी। तो पिक पे नहीं, बेस पे है। टावर किससे पकड़ रहा है इतने ऊपर? पता है तो बेस पे है ना, ऊपर नहीं है। आपके देवता भी होते हैं, मतलब कि हम लोग लाइक जो हिंदू डाइटीज होते हैं उनके अलावा भी किसी को प्रे करते हैं, ये मतलब है तो तुम्हारा हाँ होते हैं। इनफैक्ट मेरी खुद की फैमिली ही लिए करती थी। लाइक वो लोग यहाँ से नहीं है, मेरे पेरेंट्स यहाँ पर इमिग्रेशन के थ्रू आए हैं, तो मेरे जो लाइक ग्रेट ग्रैंड पेरेंट्स थे ना, वो लोग करते थे शमन जैसा, वो कुछ करते हैं ना, पता नहीं क्या बोलते उसे हिंदी में, तो ऐसा वाला जो मैजिक करते हैं, मंत्र पढ़ते हैं, वैसा वाला। वो कौन सा नोवेल है दिखाना? शर्लक होम्स वाला है, द एडवेंचर ऑफ शर्लक होम। इट्स नॉट अ नोवेल टू बी ऑनेस्ट, चैप्टर स्टोरी है। हाउ मेनी इयर्स डू यू प्रिपेयर? लाइक मैंने 2023 2024 2025 में नहीं थे, 2 साल समझ सकते हो तुम। इससे पहले तो मैं कॉलेज में थी और इसके बाद के मैंने एग्जाम नहीं दिया, तो तुम 2 साल ही पकड़ो। वैसे तो लमसम 3 है, लेकिन वे 2 साल हो गए है ना। तांत्रिक, हाँ तांत्रिक जैसा ही, नॉट एग्जैक्टली तांत्रिक। तांत्रिक तो काफी फेक होते हो। तांत्रिक से कंपेयर नहीं कर सकते। हाँ तो हाँ, उन लोग होते हैं लाइक यहाँ पर लोग ना किसी को भी प्रे करते हैं। कोई ऐसे लाइक चलते चलते हिल्स मिलता है ना, हिल्स पे भी तुम्हारा एक से ज्यादा रास्ता आ जाए ना, 3 जितना, तो उसको ना वो लोग एक पता नहीं वर्ड देते हैं दुराली करके, वहां पर वो लोग पत्थर रख के प्रे करते हैं। और जंगल में जो होता है ना, जंगल के स्पिरिट को भी प्रे करते हैं, रिवर के स्पिरिट को भी प्रे करते हैं, बहुत सारी चीजों का प्रे करते हैं। यहाँ पर संसारी करके एक पूजा भी होता है। वो संसारी क्यों करते हैं मुझे नहीं पता, लेकिन सारे गांव के लोग करते हैं। नॉट ओनली संसारी पूजा, वन मोर इज दैट, देवी पूजा बोलते हैं उसमें, उसमें भी करते हैं। वो लोग बकरी को मार देते हैं। ग्राम देवता एक्सेट्रा पता नहीं, कुछ तो है, प्रे करते हैं। आल्सो प्रिपेयर पीएससी फॉर 2 years। अब बोर लग रहा है। अच्छा अच्छा, भी होता है क्या? अपने ड्रीम्स के लिए प्रिपेयर करना भी बोरिंग होता है क्या? हाय आदित्य, चलो पढ़ते हैं ना। एवलांच, मुझे हमेशा, तुम्हें पता है सिक्किम के गवर्नमेंट ना ऐसे लाइक गवर्नमेंट को ब्लेम नहीं कर सकते, वहाँ पर जो लाइक वो होते हैं ना वेदर फोरकास्ट के लिए जो भी बैठे होते हैं, वो लोग हमेशा ना ऐसे लाइक कभी कुछ ना हो ना तो हमेशा टेक्स्ट भेजते हैं सबके ऊपर ऊपर। हर एक के फोन में एक दिन में 4-5 बार आता है कि ऐसा होगा, हेल स्टॉर्म आएगा, रेन होगा, बहुत तेज बारिश होगी, घर पे रहना, एवलांच आएगा, ऐसा घर पे रहना, ऐसा करके इतना सारा भेज देते हैं ना। फिर जिस दिन होता है ना सच्ची में, उस दिन नहीं भेजते। तो मुझे काफी फनी लगता है। पढ़े चैप्टर 6, 30 मिनट के अंदर आई थिंक मैं एक चैप्टर तो कंप्लीट कर ही सकती हूँ, है ना। मुझे ऐसा लग रहा है कि मैं कुछ भूल गई हूँ, लेकिन मुझे नहीं पता एग्जैक्टली कि मैं क्या भूली हूँ। उसको ऐसे छोड़ दो, मैं कुछ नहीं कर सकती। अस्तगफिरुल्लाह। आज भैया की स्टूडेंट ने ना इतना गंदा इमेज बनाया था। लाइक आई थिंक वो इंसान ना 13-14 ईयर्स जितने का ही है ना, 13 to 14 है। एक किड है मतलब कि। और वो लोग कब से हंसे जा रहे हैं ना, तब भैया नहीं थे। ओके, आज भैया ने फर्स्ट क्लास लिया था, सेकंड क्लास के भी थोड़े से टाइम तक थे, उसके बाद वो चले गए थे ना। तो जब भैया भैया चले गए ना, वो लोग इतने मेरे साथ तो कोऑपरेट नहीं करते ना, इसलिए वो लोग हंस रहे थे। मुझे लगा कि क्या बनाया है, तो इतना गंदा इमेज बनाया था फिश के। हाँ, स्क्रॉल करते करते ही आ जाता हूँ, कोई बात नहीं, आते रहना। अभी रोस्ट करता, यू डोंट हैव दैट राइट। लाइफ पे तुम मेरी लाइक मेंबर होके, ऊपर से मॉडरेटर होके तुम ही बुली करोगे, दैट्स नॉट अ गुड थिंग। इसको भी इस तरफ लेते हैं ना। चलो स्टार्ट करते हैं। ओके, द मैन विद द ट्विस्टेड लिप, ईजा विटने was the brother of the late Elias Whitney and my patient. This name is the brother of the patient. He has a serious problem of opium addiction. He acquired the addiction from some foolish friend when he was in college. Like so many others, he found that it was quite easy to get into, but almost impossible to get out, and he had spent many years being a slave to the drug. Speaking about him, I can see his face in front of my eyes, yellow, pasty, and drooping, the remains of what was once a noble man. It was a warm night in June of 1989 when someone rang my bell. It was quite late and I had a very long day. My wife told me it must be a patient of mine and that I should attend to the person. A servant had already let the person in. It was a lady wearing a dark colored garment and a black veil. Please do excuse me for visiting so late, she said, and then, bursting into tears, she ran towards my wife and threw her arms around her neck and wept on her shoulder. I am in such trouble and I need a little help. Could you please help me? She cried. My wife lifted the veil. It was Kate Whitney, wife of Isa Whitney. And my wife's childhood friend. Okay. Kate said she did not know who to contact, and hence she came running to my wife. This way, this was the way things were. People came to my wife when they were in grief, like birds go to a lighthouse. My wife offered Kate some wine and water and asked her if she was comfortable talking in front of me or would she rather have me go to bed. Oh no, I want the doctor's counsel and his help too. It's about Isa. He has not returned home in 2 days. Huh? I'm worried. I'm very worried and scared for him, she said. However, Kate knew where her husband was. She was quite sure that she knew the place her husband was frequently visiting recently. He visited an opium den in the city whenever he wanted a fix. But so far, his activities had been limited to a day. I understood that Kate wanted me to go find him, as it was not a place for ladies to go. But this time he had been gone 2 days, and his wife was worried that he might be somewhere in the docks taking the drugs. She told us that he could be found at the bar of Old in Upper Swandam Lane. The cancel. क्यों ऐसे आ रहा है आज? हाय बोल दो बिग फैन. हाय क्रिश. सेम सेम. मैं भी क्रिश की बड़ी बहुत बड़ी फैन हूँ. जल्दी से एग्जाम कर लो. Reynolds number 2348. there was a bar. There was but one. Okay, कहाँ था? कहाँ थी मैं? Though she knew where he was, it was not possible for a woman like her to go and fetch him. There was, but there was but one way out of it. I dressed and went to the address. I was Isa's medical advisor and had both influence and authority over him. It was better that I went alone. I promised the lady that I would send him home in a cab within 2 hours if at all he was found at the given address. Within 10 minutes, I had left my armchair and the comfort of my home to go on a strange adventure. Upper Swandam Lane was a wheel area. I found the opium den and told my cab driver to wait for me. I passed down the steps and entered the room. The room was full of thick and heavy opium smoke. Bodies lying in strange positions. Both soldiers, bent knees, and heads thrown back. Speak as low, okay. It was not easy to deny any question that my friend Sherlock Holmes presented. His request always led to some sort of exceedingly rare adventure. I did not wish anything more than being with Sherlock on one of his great journeys. In a matter of minutes, I had written my note, led Isha with me into the cab and sent him home. Then I walked to the end of the street and waited for Sherlock. After about 5 minutes, Sherlock emerged from the opium den, still half in disguise. His face was now clean, but he walked with a limp foot and a bent back. For 2 streets, he walked this way. Then he looked around to see if anyone had followed him and laughed heartily. I hope, Watson, said he, that you are not thinking that I have added that you are not thinking that I hope, Watson, that you are not thinking that I have added opium addiction to my smoking habits and other little weakness that you have so often lectured me about. It was definitely a surprise to see you there, I said. Probably not more than my surprise on seeing you there, he replied. I came to find a friend, and I was there to find an enemy. Sherlock told me he was there looking for clues. He was looking to find answer in the rambling of those who were high on opium. He was looking for one. What is this? St. Clair. Claire. Claire. Or Clair. Bill St. Clair was a British businessman. Okay. He had a good reputation, though his job took him away from home frequently, and on his business trip, Okay, he suddenly disappeared. Who he feared had entered the establishment but might not have left it. There was a wharf behind the establishment which, according to Sherlock, had seen many dead bodies, and recently might have carried the body of the man he was searching for. Sherlock asked me to accompany him to the Cedars. It was the house that was owned by Claire. His wife was the one his wife was the one who had hired Sherlock to find him, and has generously offered him a double-bedded room. Sherlock guided me to a carriage that was waiting and asked the driver to leave. We were going to Kent and had a 7 mile journey ahead of us. For most of the journey, we rode in silence. You have a remarkable gift of silence, Watson. It makes you and your company very much valuable to me. But it is also nice to have someone to talk to when my own thoughts are not too pleasant. I am wondering what I shall say to this woman when we arrive. I do not have any answer for her. Sherlock, I think you are forgetting that you haven't told me anything about this case yet, I replied. All right then, I'll tell you the details. Maybe you will find something that is not visible to my eyes. Sherlock smiled. A few years ago, in May 1884 to be precise, Mr. Clare came to this town. He appeared to have a lot of money. He bought a nice house and planted gardens around it, and generally lived in a lavish style. As time passed, he made friends in the neighborhood, and in 1887 he got married to the daughter of a local brewer. He now has two beautiful children with that woman. He had no specific occupation, but had interest in several companies. He went to town every morning and, like clockwork, returned home by 5:14 p.m. from Cannon Street every night. Mr. Clare is now 37 years of age and is a man of temperate habits. He is known to be a good husband and a loving father. If you think he had debts, then let me tell you, the amount he owned is almost three times the amount he owes in bill. Mhm. So that theory is out of the question. Last Monday, Sherlock continued, Mr. Clare started his day as per his daily routine, but before he went to town, he told his wife that there were two important tasks he had to perform that day, and he promised his little boy he would bring him a box of blocks to play with on his way back. Now, on the same day, shortly after Mr. Clare left for town, his wife received a telegram which said that there was a valuable parcel which she was expecting that she needed to collect from Aberdeen Shipping Company in London. Now, if you remember, this branch is in Fresnumber Street, which in quite close to Upper Swandam Lane, where we ran into each other tonight. Mrs. Clare left for the city for lunch, collected her parcel, collected her parcel from the company's office, and was walking past the opium den at exactly 4:35 p.m. Are the facts clear to you till now? He asked. Quite clear, I responded. If you remember, Monday was a very hot day. Mrs. Clare was walking slowly looking for a cab. She was feeling uneasy as this area was not fit for a lady to walk in. Now, as she was walking past the opium den, she heard a cry, and upon looking up, saw her husband waving as if beckoning her from the second floor window. She says that she remembers his face looking quite agitated. Then, as if pulled by an irresistible force, he vanished. She noticed that although he was wearing the same dark coat, he did not have a collar or tie. Sure that there was something wrong with her husband, she rushed inside the opium den only to throw back out by the manager. Thankfully, she found some constable and with their help was able to make way to the window she had last seen her husband in. But the only person there was a cripple who refused to have seen the man. Both the cripple and the manager insisted that there was no one else in that room. Mrs. Clare, however, found a box of blocks there which her husband had promised he would bring for their son. This discovery convinced the inspector that something was wrong. On top of it, the beggar seemed confused. The front room, which was plainly furnished, led into a bedroom. Which had a window that opened on the wharf below. The narrow strip of land was. I don't text. Whoever is this person. You're not supposed to text. Good. Who is this? Stupid. Hi, 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 hi. I think this is Saru. Is it you, Saru? मैम आपसे अच्छा तो गूंगा पढ़ लेता है. गूंगा कैसे पढ़ पाता है? सॉरी, पता नहीं था. अरे तुम्हें नहीं बोल रही हूँ. तुम्हारा टेक्स्ट तो अभी आया ना. समवन वाज टेक्सटिंग तुम्हारे से पहले भी. आई डोंट हैव अ फादर. कैसे मारेंगे मयंक? ये द एडवेंचर ऑफ शर्लक होम्स है. वैसे शॉर्ट स्टोरी जैसा ही है. हाय आकर्ष. ओके, मैं तुम्हें बाद में व्हाट्सएप पे मिलती हूँ. ओके सर्वचिता. सरू द ग्रेट. कैसी हो? मैं ठीक हूँ. तुम कैसे हो? एक मिनट, मैंने ये नहीं किया है क्या? मॉडरेशन नहीं लगाया है क्या? एग्जैक्टली मुझे लगा कि मैंने लगाया है. हाउ कैन समवन लाइक स्टूडेंट कम्युनिटी में कौन ये हरामखोर टेररिस्ट घुस गया? मुझे पता लग ही रहा है तुम्हारी हरकतों से ही. तुमने जो लिखा ना भवन सिंह, वैसे वो मुझे समझ में भी नहीं आता. और गवारों से क्या भी एक्सपेक्ट कर सकते हैं ना. नाम ही है तुम्हारा भुवन सिंह. काम भी ऐसा ही है. और एक और था यहाँ पर गवार. वो कौन था? लेट मी हाइड दैट पर्सन. ओके. एक गधा यहाँ पर था. ओ ये यही है. भुवन सिंह ही है. नल्ले निठल्ले थरकबाज. अच्छा नहीं होता वो. ओके. इज इट देविका? ओके. हाय देविका, तुम आई थी, मैंने नहीं देखा. सॉरी. हाँ. हाय शामी. शमीम. ओए ओए ओए. ये तो मैं और मेरी बड़ी बहन की टेक्स्ट जैसा लग रहा है. हम लोग भी ऐसे ही करते हैं ना. ओए ओए, मैं उसको ओए लिखती हूँ, वो भी मुझे ओए लिखती है. फिर कुछ बोलने को होता ही नहीं, तो हम दोनों ऐसे ही ओए 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 करते हैं. हाँ, ये तो तुमने सही बोला. जिसका चेहरा अच्छा नहीं होता है वो पढ़ाई करता है. एग्जैक्टली. ये मैं कितनी बार भी बोलती हूँ. मेरी बड़ी बहन बहुत खूबसूरत है ना, तो उसने ऐसे पढ़ाई नहीं किया. और मैं इन द अदर हैंड बहुत सुंदर थी, इसलिए मैंने खूब पढ़ाई की. जो सुंदर नहीं होते वो पढ़ाई करते हैं. ये सही कहा मयंक तुमने. ओके. हाय योगेश. हाँ, हाँ, स्टडी के दौरान स्ट्रेस, वो वाला स्ट्रेस तो अच्छा ही है मेरे लिए। स्टडी के दौरान जो स्ट्रेस होता है ना, वो तो अच्छा ही होता है ना, जब ना करने के बाद स्ट्रेस होता है उसके कंपैरिज़न में तो। हाय देविका। तुम अगर केरला से हो ना तो मैं मुझे खुशी होगी, क्योंकि आई लाइक साउथ इंडियंस थोड़ा ज़्यादा नॉर्थ इंडियंस के कंपैरिज़न में। और लाइक गॉड ने मेरे लिए इंडिया में अगर कोई प्लेस चूज़ किया होता और मुझसे पूछ के किया होता, वैसे वर्ल्ड में किया होता तो मैं जापान बोलती, लेकिन अगर इंडिया में ही कोई चूज़ करता ना तो मैं भी साउथ इंडियन ही होती ज़रूर। लेकिन सैडली मैं सिक्किम में पैदा हो गई। । 98% लिटरेसी रेट, हाँ। जनरल नॉलेज है कृष के पास। बाय गाइस, मैं लंच अभी तक नहीं गई। तुमने लंच के बारे में कब का जिक्र किया था? यहाँ पर किसी को हाइड करने के लिए आई थी, तुमने हाइड कर दिया क्या? नहीं ना? इसको आई डोंट वांट सच पीपल इन माय चैनल। डिसेंट वाले लोग, जो बच्चे अपने फ्यूचर के लिए स्ट्रगल कर रहे होते हैं, वैसे वाले ही स्टूडेंट मुझे चाहिए यहाँ पर। ये अंकल लोग आ जाते हैं पता नहीं कहाँ से, क्या क्या बोलने लग जाते हैं। आई एट लंच राइस। और मैंने नहीं बताया क्या, मेरे घर में सिलेंडर ही खत्म हो गया और सिलेंडर की गाड़ी अभी तक नहीं आई है, तो हम लोग उसमें पका रहे हैं, चूल्हा में खाना पका रहे हैं। इसलिए मैंने वो भी लिया है, फ्लैटेंड राइस, ताकि मुझे दिन में ना वो नहीं करना पड़ेगी। अम्मा जब होती है तो वो तो चूल्हे पे आग लगा देती है ना, लेकिन मैं भी लगा सकती हूँ, इट्स नॉट लाइक दैट। लेकिन मैं थोड़ी आलसी औरत हूँ ना, इसलिए मैंने फ्लैटेंड राइस लेके आया। आई उसके ऊपर दूध और हनी डाल के ऐसे खाने से इतना टेस्टी लगता है। और मैंने वाइट ब्रेड भी लिया है। I don't know Hindi. I know English. Okay, you don't understand Hindi. Okay, then I can speak in English. Do I have to explain it again? The first thing that I said was I like South Indian way more than the people from North India. And if God had given me an opportunity to choose my birthplace, I would have chosen South India, especially Tamil Nadu. And what else I said? Oh, I said we don't have cylinder in our house. That's why I ate flattened rice with honey along with milk. That's it. Summarize कर दिया मैंने तुम्हारे लिए. Welcome to Kerala. I would like to visit. Not this year. In future, definitely I will. God's own country. Can't say that. Today I ate bangun. What is a bangun? Bacon and rice. What is bangun? एक मिनट सर्च कर लेती हूँ। तुम मुझे गवारी बोलोगे, मुझे ऐसा फूड का नाम ही नहीं पता। बंगुन, बंगुन की सब्जी। पता नहीं, यहाँ पर भी नहीं आया। What was your location? What was your lunch? Okay, लोकेशन पढ़ लिया मैंने। Nah, I can't do that. I'm so sorry, yeah. I'm struggling with my own situation and my own thoughts. I have to fight or deal with my own stuff. So sorry. I am so sorry, okay? I don't want to hurt you. I'm not trying to be mean or rude. I just can't. मैं कहाँ पर थी? पता नहीं कहाँ पर थी। The police arrested. Mm-hmm. I was somewhere, no? The baker seemed confused. The front room, which was plainly furnished, led in a bedroom which had a window that opened onto the wharf below. The narrow strip of land was dry at low tide but would be covered by water at high tide. The inspector found traces of blood on the windowsill. Oh my goodness. The inspector found traces of blood on the windowsill and the floor near the window. After careful examination of the room, the officer found all of the Mr. Clare's clothing except for his coat. No sign of violence was seen in the room, and Clare could only have gone through the window. If he had been pushed through the window, there was a chance that he had saved himself by swimming, as the tide was high at that moment. Since the manager was downstairs and Mrs. Clare had witnessed him there, he could not be a suspect in this. He protested that he had no knowledge of what Hogbone, his lodger, was doing at that time. Okay. He also said that he was not to be held accountable for the clothes that were found in the bedroom. He could not be considered an accessory to any crime that was committed there. As for the beggar, he had a hideous face and looked sinister. He was a professional beggar, though he claimed to trade in wax. Vestas. Vestas? क्या है ये? Since he was the last person to have seen Claire, the police arrested Hookbone, the crippled beggar. But what could be a cripple do? But what could a cripple do? I asked. He is only crippled in one leg. The rest of his body is quite strong, Sherlock replied. Oh. The police had found stains of blood near the window, which the beggar had explained as being his own. He showed them his bleeding finger. One mistake the police made, according to Sherlock, was to not detain the beggar instantly. Because in the little time they spent searching the room, the beggar could have easily sneaked anything to his friend, the manager. Oh. Found in the wharf, filled with pennies and half pennies. It made no sense to me why a body would have been disposed of with only a coat. Sherlock explained that the beggar must have been in the act of throwing the clothes when he realized the coat would not sink, and hence filled it with pennies so that it would sink, but did not have enough time to dispose all the clothes as the police had arrived. Oh. So arrested and taken to the police station, but there was no record that he had committed any crime before this. He was just a professional beggar, and his life had been simple and innocent. We need to find out now the Claire was doing. Okay, find out now what Claire was doing at the opium den and what happened to him. We don't even know where he is right now or if he is even alive. In my professional life, I have never faced such a challenge as this case has put forward. It seemed so simple, but has proven to be quite a complicated one, Sherlock remarked. We reached our destination and were unshared inside. Assured inside, just now. Miss Clare welcomed us and looked at Sherlock with hopeful eyes, and he could only shake his head. Mr. Sherlock Holmes, I wish to ask you something, and I hope that you will answer them in all sincerity, the woman said. Certainly I will, madam, Sherlock replied. I wish to hear your real opinion about my husband. Do you think Claire is still alive? She asked. Sherlock seemed upset with the question. He hung his head low and in a sad voice said, Frankly, madam, I do not think so. Then, Mr. Holmes, could you be so kind as to explain to me how a dead person has sent me a letter today? She said. Sherlock looked startled and said, What? Mrs. Clare showed Sherlock a letter which she swore was from her husband. It had his wedding ring. Okay, it had his wedding ring enclosed in it. She said that the handwriting was definitely Claire's, especially when he writes in a hurry. It was posted that very day from Gravesend. Sherlock looked at the letter closely and said, This is not your husband's writing, madam. He explained, The name is in black ink, but the rest of the writing is of greyish color, which shows that blotting paper was used. Oh. The writer was not familiar with the address, writing the name, but Mrs. Clare insisted, with a woman's intuition, that the letter was indeed from her husband, and she knew he was alive and well. She was sure that the letter was from him because he had enclosed his signet ring with it. He had enclosed his signet ring with it. Sherlock again asked Mrs. Clare whether she was sure her husband had written the letter. She replied that she was sure about him. She asserted that if anything evil had happened to her husband, she would have known it in her heart. She gave the example of the day when he went away. I was in the dining room and Clare had cut himself in the bedroom. Instinctively, I rushed upstairs to check on him. It is possible that I would respond in this manner for such a small thing, yet remain ignorant of his death. I believe that a woman's intuition is more valuable than the conclusion of an expert in some cases. Sherlock agreed. If your husband is alive, why should he remain away from you? Asked Sherlock. Did he say something to you before leaving on Monday? He asked the lady. No. Were you surprised to see him in Swandam Lane? Did he call you? The questioning went on. Yes, I was surprised, and it is possible that he might have called me. He waved his hands. The lady replied. He waved his hands. The lady replied. It might have been a cry of surprise at having seen you there. After seeing you, he must have pulled back himself, and you thought someone had pulled him. Did you see anyone else in the room? Sherlock continued his question. No, there was no one else, she replied. Her a few questions about the clothes. that her husband was waiting. He thanked the lady and we had supper and went to bed. Sherlock always had a hard time sleeping when he had questions that needed answering. He gathered up some cushions and laid them on the ground, then changed into a dressing gown. He sat cross-legged against the cushion, took his pipe and started smoking. I drifted off to sleep and woke up only when I heard a loud sound. The room was full of smoke from the tobacco, but none of the tobacco was left. You awake? You awake yet? Sherlock asked me. Yes, I said, rubbing my eyes. Would you like to go for a morning drive? Well, since I am awake, I think I may as well join you, I said as I woke up and got dressed. As I freshened up, I glanced at the watch and the time was 4:25. I swear that guy वो ना बिल्डिंग से गिरे और उसकी सर फूट जाए, मर जाए। हाँ, तब भी। या अल्लाह प्लीज हेल्प मी। हाँ, इसके साथ बहुत बुरा हो। आई थैंक गॉड कोई नहीं देख रहा, वरना सोचेंगे ना कि मैं अब्यूज कर रही हूँ, कर्स कर रही हूँ। आई वांट टू टेस्ट अ लिटिल थ्योरी। ओके। As I freshened up, I glanced at the watch and the time was 4:25 a.m., which is why everyone was still sleeping. I want a, I want to test a little theory that I formed during the night, Sherlock said, putting on his boot. I have to be the biggest fool in the entire world. But I think I have found the key to cracking this case open. And where, if I may ask, have you found this key? I asked. In the bathroom, my dear. Okay, and where, if I may ask, have you found this key? In the bathroom, my dear Watson. Don't look surprised. I have just been there and I have the key in this bag right there, he said. Excuse me? Don't look surprised. I have just been there and I have the key in this bag right here, he said, showing me a bag. Been there and I have the key in this bag right there, right here. We shall test if this key does indeed fit the lock. We left our room and went downstairs as quietly as possible and out into the morning sun. Our carriage was ready and waiting for us. We got in and with a few whips we were dashing towards London. The countryside was just staring. A few vegetable carts were taking the taking the produce to the city. But the town on the whole was very silent. In London, the early risers were just beginning that day when we entered the city. We drove to the police station in Bow Street. This was where the beggar Hookbone was being held in custody. Sherlock was well known in the police force. The policeman saluted him and escorted him inside. He demanded to speak to the inspector in charge, which happened to be Inspector Bradstreet. Sherlock asked to speak with the inspector in private and then requested him to allow him to speak with Hookbone, who was accused of murdering Mr. Clare. Sherlock was led to the holding cell in which our beggar was sleeping. We did not wake him, but slowly and quietly stepped inside the cell. The prisoner was sleeping with his face towards us. He was breathing slowly and heavily. He was a middle sized man and was wearing clothes that suited his profession. He was extremely dirty, but the dirt on his face did not conceal his ugliness. Uh, a scar ran across his face from the eye to the chin, and due to this, his upper lip was turned upward. Upper lip was turned upward. Three teeth were exposed, and He looked as if he snored all the time. Bright red hair grew low over his eyes and forehead. The inspector said, "Don't you think he is very dirty? He needs a wash, and I have brought the tool with me," said Sherlock. Sherlock removed a sponge from the bag. Sherlock removed a sponge from the bag, looked at me, and said, "This is the key." I watched as Sherlock fed the sponge with the strong, swift movement, wiped the face of our suspect, and to everyone's surprise, his twist steadily became a normal one. What? All three of us stood looking at the sight that lay before us. Hookbone, or as we found out, Mr. Clare was not now fully aware of what had happened. He stood up and said, "I suppose I no longer am a murdered suspect. You have not committed a crime but an error. Why didn't you trust your wife?" Sherlock asked. "It is not my wife. I wanted to protect my children. They should not be ashamed of their father. What shall I do?" he asked in a dejected voice. Okay, what shall I do now? Sherlock patted his soldier and told him to tell them the truth. He assured him that the case will not go to the court if he convinced us that no crime had been committed. The man said, "I could face anything, even executions, rather than let my children suffer on account of my behavior." He told us that he was once a reporter and had to write an article on beggars in the city. Okay. Using his skills of makeup that he had acquired during his acting days, he created the persona of Hookbone to understand beggars. But he found out that he earned much more as a beggar than he had as a reporter. Okay. He told us that he was once a reporter and had to write an article on beggar in the city, using his skills of makeup that he had acquired during his acting days. He created the persona of Hookbone to understand beggar. He found out that he earned much more as a baker than he had as a reporter. All was going well, and he was writing his article when he backed a bill for his friend for £25. All was going well, and he was writing his article when he backed a bill for his friend for £25. He was not able to arrange that much money, and he decided to beg for the money. Creditors for more time and took a leave of absence from his employers. He disguised himself as baker and earned the required money in 10 days. He paid off the debt. After this, he found it difficult to settle down to a job that was giving him little. He then started his career as a baker and left his job as a reporter. Every day he would go to the lodge and transform himself into a beggar, and he changed back in the evening to return home. The owner of the lodge was the only one who knew this, and since he was being paid well for his room, he did not mind keeping the secret. This went on for many years, and he grew rich. He bought a house and got married. His wife thought that he had a business in the city. Last Monday he had finished for the day, and he was in the process of changing back to. His wife saw him. We knew the rest. He continued, when I saw my wife looking at me, I gave a cry of surprise and threw up my arms to cover my face. I then rushed to my confidant. I told him to prevent anyone from coming. I quickly changed to the beggar's disguise and hid the clothes that belonged to. Okay, Claire, I threw the coat in the river and it disappeared into the water. I was relieved that instead of being recognized as Claire, I was arrested for his murder. I quickly gave my ring to the Lascar and asked him to send it to my wife, along with a note that I scribbled hurriedly. What else can I explain? I wanted to preserve my disguise as a beggar, and so I kept my face dirty. He was released with the assurance that his family would not find out about his activities as long as he stopped begging. He happily agreed and left. This brought an end to another unique, interesting adventure that I had with Sherlock. Excuse me. Now I have exactly how many? 6 chapters, right? It was supposed to be 24. It's not. It's just 22. Okay, I have 100 pages. The Adventure of Blue Carbuncle. The Adventure of Speckled Panda. मैंने ऐसा क्या खतरनाक खा लिया कि जो मुझे ना अभी ऐसा लग रहा है कि मैं डाइजेस्ट ही नहीं कर पाऊंगी. ऐसा तो कुछ खाया नहीं मैंने, लेकिन मुझे ऐसा लग रहा है कि मैं नहीं कर पाऊंगी डाइजेस्ट. मैं भी तुम्हारे साथ मिल के उड़ा लेती हूँ वो स्टिकर्स. रुको, हाँ, कहाँ से उड़ाते हैं? ओ आई कांट आई गेस. कहाँ से उड़ाते हैं? ओके, तुम पीसी वाले हो ना? पीसी वाले ही ये उड़ा सकते हैं, है ना? एनीवेज, हाय देविका. मैं सोच रहा हूँ कि क्या करूँ, पता नहीं. आई हैव क्लास एट 6, तो क्या करूँ? कपड़े ही फोल्ड कर लेती हूँ. हाउ आर यू? अभी तो थोड़ा टॉन्सिल वापस से आ गया, ऐसा फील हो रहा है. मे बी आई एम रॉन्ग. तुम कैसी हो? तुम बताओ. वैसे तो मुझे पढ़ना भी है, अपना 3 आवर वाला सेशन कंप्लीट भी करना है. नींद भी आ रही है ऐसा लग रहा है. हाउ इज योर क्लाइमेट देयर? थोड़ी देर पहले घाम लग रहा था. घाम को घाम ही बोलते हैं ना, सूरज. ओके, थोड़ी देर पहले इट वाज सनी, फिर देन इट वाज रेनी. अभी तो नहीं पता, सब कुछ बंद करके रखा है. क्लाउडी होगा डेफिनेटली. Oh, I forgot you don't understand Hindi. Do I have to repeat it? Do I have to? Okay, the weather of Sikkim is not like, it keeps on fluctuating. In the morning, it was a sunny morning, and in afternoon, it started raining. Now I don't know because I'm here inside my room and everything is closed. I have to go outside and check. Maybe it is a cloudy day for now. I have sister, and she is studying BSc nursing. Oh wow. Wow, wow. Carpuncle. Just wait a second, हाँ मैं WhatsApp पे जाके आई